This video is brought to you by you guys. Thank you so much to all the channel members. Your support has been amazing. We've got tons of cool perks available, so if you want to check them out, click the join button or the top link in the description. Thanks, and enjoy the video. Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is The Raptor, and today we're going to be watching the new episode of Death Battle that just came out, Cell from Dragon Ball versus Metal Sonic from Sonic the Hedgehog. And I personally am quite excited to see what Death Battle has for us today. I've said before that this isn't really one of my favorite matchups in the world or anything, but I do still quite like both of these characters individually, and this is a very fitting matchup for DevilArtemis' last animation for Death Battle, presumably ever, or maybe he'll come back, you know, sporadically, I'm not really sure, but he's also voice acting both of the characters as well, which is pretty crazy, so I'm really excited for those elements in particular, you know what I mean? As far as who I'm rooting for this, I would probably go with Metal Sonic. A couple years ago, I might have actually said Cell instead. However, I do tend to think of myself as more of a Sonic fan than a Dragon Ball fan, even though I do still like both series, but just more of a Sonic fan overall, and especially over the last couple years, I have grown a much stronger appreciation for Metal Sonic as a character, so it is still pretty close, but I probably lean Metal Sonic just a little more. As far as who I am betting on though, that's leaning a lot more towards Metal Sonic in that regard. Obviously, I am willing to hear Death Battle out and all that, I'm willing to hear what they have to say, I'm excited for their interpretation on this matchup, but similar to Ichigo versus Yusuke, it's just a little hard in this current moment to see how Cell would win more times than not, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if Death Battle were to lean that way, they would either have to interpret Metal Sonic's power copying as not being able to copy the best stuff that Cell has. Right now, I'm kind of rolling with the interpretation that he should be able to copy basically all of Cell's toolkit, or nearly all of it, but I do acknowledge that there is some interpretational stuff there, so maybe Death Battle will see it differently. And I mainly think they would have to think that Cell would be able to outlast Metal Sonic's super form, assuming they include that, of course. But I feel like if they were to argue that Cell would be able to outlast Metal Sonic, they would have to interpret the power gap as being a lot closer than a lot of people seem to think that it is. So again, I'm not sure how likely that is. I'm leaning towards Metal Sonic right now, but we'll have to see what they say as far as the analyses go. How does that old saying go? As long as there's delusion, there is hope. Because it's always more important that your preferred character wins rather than actually coming to the most sensible conclusion, right? I still never understood that. But enough talk, let's get to watching. Alright, here we go.
Cell versus Metal Sonic. Which copycat android is truly the superior model?
We will see.
And it's our job to analyze
Filthy plagiarists, am I right?
Who would win a death battle?
Alright, let's go. What do we got? Cell's up first.
There's a monster stalking Gingertown.
Oh.
No one who's seen it has lived to tell the tale.
Ooh, I like the background in black and white and all that. That's really cool.
Something.
Always really good editing, right?
Leaving only a shadow behind.
Some kind of creature driven only by the need to feed. Earth's new apex predator, the ultimate life form.
I'm an apex predator.
To investigate this manslayer and discover that
Hi, Piccolo.
It was intelligent. Its tail could unravel to
Well,
absorb
relatively
its
speaking.
hapless
Intelligent
victims
life and all
add
that.
their energy to its wretched gestalt.
But the nightmare was
Damn.
only just
Wiz is speaking
beginning,
some poetry.
because for its last trick, somehow this freak of nature knew the Kamehameha.
The mystery
I
of
mean,
this creature's
I could do
origin was
that.
decades in
I'm
the
sure.
making. Years ago, the world was terrorized by the most advanced paramilitary organization in history. The
Primary
Red
canon, the
Ribbon
manga,
Army.
and anime.
Until
Okay.
they got rocked by this
I guess that's mostly like, you know, no
Kung Fu
heroes
gremlin,
stuff.
Son Goku.
I expected them to use like, you know, anime-only material and stuff. It looks like that's where they're going as well.
Hiding
Oh, hi,
away in his
Eggman.
spooky
I mean,
cave
Dr.
laboratory,
Zero.
Zero would go to work studying the Z fighters from afar, learning everything there was to know about them.
And building a series of androids that would destroy his spiky-haired nemesis.
Yeah,
once
tons
and
of
for all.
them.
He made a ton of them. Infinite energy androids, key absorbing androids, trucker head androids, and even ginger androids.
However,
Hey,
none of
gingers
Zero's
have
creations
souls.
were capable of matching that
I'm just like
raw
Ginger in the beard, I
human
guess.
that Goku and his fellow martial artists possessed.
Luckily, he had one more android left. A cute little booger so complex he'd take years after Zero's death to complete. Its
Yeah.
name.
Similar
was
in a
Cell.
way to
Born
Zero
a
from Mega
single
Man.
Cell, Get it? This
Yeah,
android
I
possessed the
get
genetic
it.
information of all the greatest warriors that
He
have
likes
battled on
Kermit the
Earth, and
Frog.
when fully
Very
evolved,
good.
would become unstoppable.
And with their DNA, Cell absorbed all their powers and techniques too.
Mm-hmm.
Common among all of them is the power to manipulate ki, or the energy that exists in all living things, and
Yes.
weaponize it to fire energy blasts.
Usually
fly
wouldn't be
fast
robots,
light
but
speeds,
we'll
move
see.
things with telekinesis, and create force fields.
From the humans, Krillin and Tien, Cell knows the multiform technique, Destructo Disc,
Well,
and the Tri.
if that's just from human DNA, why can't I do that?
Weird, I'm not seeing Chaozu on this list. Sorry, bud.
Is Chaozu human?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cell can
I don't
fire the
know
death
either.
beam, as well as breathe in
Not gonna
and
think about
out
it
through the
much.
vacuum of space with the alien genes of Frieza and his father.
And because he's got Piccolo's DNA, Cell can regenerate humongous damage
Right.
to his body at the cost of some ki.
Cell has survived having
At the
half
cost of
his
some
body
ki.
vaporized
Might be
multiple
seeing a Dante
times,
versus
and
Clive
cannot be destroyed
situation,
unless
perhaps.
The small cluster of cells at the core of his being is eradicated.
Should
Right,
that
so it's
little bugger
specifically the
survive,
core,
Cell will always
that
return,
one central
even
part.
stronger than before because of the Saiyan DNA he got from Goku and Vegeta.
Yes.
Definitely the cream of the genetic crop.
Sure, he can.
I mean, yeah, that's gonna be the best stuff
the
there.
Gallic Gun, Spirit Bomb, and of course Kamehameha, as well as teleport by locking onto a living being's key signature.
But the best part of being a Saiyan is how much crazy stronger they get every time they almost die.
They can even evolve to become orders of magnitude.
Yeah, the
stronger
Zenkai
in the
boost,
midst of battle, combined
especially paired with the
self-healing
healing factor, you know, that's
and
gonna
he's
be
effectively
tough.
The ultimate warrior.
Like a perpetual shonen motion machine.
Mm-hmm.
Driven by a biological imperative, Cell wanted nothing more than to devour Giro's previous androids, 17 and 18, believing it would make him perfect.
Only
Right,
one
you
problem.
wanna chase
The
that
Cell we know
perfection.
was born in the future, and both 17 and 18 had been destroyed. So he murdered
Ah, that
Trunks and
sucks.
went back in time. Not our Trunks, future Trunks. Well,
Yeah.
not future Trunks, but another future Trunks. Very complicated. There's like 5 timelines.
As Cell
Yeah,
defeated
it's-
and
it's
absorbed
weird.
the androids, he evolved. Not
then we
only
got, like,
getting
super
stronger,
perfect
but
Cell.
changing his personality and developing a lust for battle.
He became less creepy bug serial
Mm-hmm.
killer and more, well, Saiyan.
Yeah, didn't they
After
wanted Akira
exploiting that
Toriyama to
very
keep
Saiyan
changing the
arrogance and
design,
warrior's
right?
pride, Cell finally
So that's why he has
became
so many
perfect.
looks.
And easily dominated Trunks and Vegeta, the latter of whom had decades of battle experience under
Mm-hmm.
his belt.
Perfect Cell's power was off the charts. He could threaten the whole Earth just by powering up.
Yeah.
Full power Kamehameha.
Yeah, everyone
He was
loves that
even
quote,
capable
right?
of
The solar
destroying our
system.
entire solar system.
While the vast majority of our solar system's mass is located in the sun, this still means that Cell's key wave would have to reach 2.8 billion miles to eradicate every planet.
Right.
Whiz, maybe he was just exaggerating.
Not likely. Cell's claim has been backed up in multiple guidebooks.
Yeah,
and
it's
even
like an
demonstrated
official
outright
backing,
in
yeah.
Video games.
Cell's even stronger in the anime adaptation, considering
Yes.
the time Frieza blew up Namek. In the anime, the explosion was literally hundreds of light years wide and lit up the friggin' galaxy.
And Cell was far
Yeah.
stronger than Frieza was at that point in time.
Even if you
Hell,
don't
Namek
consider him
even sends
universal in the
all way
anime,
from
it's
a
still
different
stronger than the solar
galaxy and
system.
thought he might be a threat to the whole universe.
Or you
He's
could
also
interpret it that way
incredibly
too.
Fast, capable of blitzing even the strongest Z fighters at the time. Goku flew from Grand Kai's planet to heaven.
Yeah, I
all
had a
the way
feeling
to
they'd bring
hell,
this up.
Hundreds of billions of light years in half a minute. And that was in his base form.
Yeah, that's cool, but how about the power
Mm-hmm. They even
to
said he's
squeeze
comparable to
mini
Super
Cell
Saiyan 2.
juniors out of your butt? What? Never heard of that key technique? Call it the Kegel.
Perfect Cell was entirely without peer and, no longer wedded to Giro's petty grudge, decided to prove it with a tournament.
The Cell Game!
Right, yeah,
And
yeah,
if
yeah.
Goku couldn't even beat him, what hope did anyone else have? Vegeta couldn't even handle a Cell Jr.
Poor
Their best
Vegeta.
hope was Goku's own son, Gohan.
Yep.
After Cell arrogantly let him power up, Gohan unleashed his rage, pushed the bug
mean, it
monster
is in
to his
character.
absolute limits, and beat him. Wow, Cell, you really are related to Vegeta, aren't you?
In truth, Cell was a victim of his own success.
Mm.
The same Saiyan genes that made him all-powerful also sowed the seeds of his defeat.
He got so mad he even blew himself up. Maybe he does have some Chaozu in him after all.
Wasn't enough to totally put him down, and he came back with the same Super Saiyan power-up that Gohan had just unlocked.
Yeah.
Super perfect Cell.
Super perfect Cell.
Now with more lightning. In a battle for the ages. Cell
Yeah, it
put
is
the
a
entire
basically
weight of his
Super Saiyan
biological
2, yeah, 'cause of the
programming
lightning.
against one lone
The
Saiyan
design
and
choices.
went the distance.
But in the end, it still wasn't enough. No
Mm-hmm.
matter how brilliantly Dr. Gero copied the Z-Fighters, he still couldn't quite figure out their knack for going beyond.
What can be destroyed
Despite the
can
Zenkai
always
boost,
be
yeah, it's
rebuilt.
a very
All it takes
human
to
thing.
recreate the most fearsome warrior in the universe is one single cell.
Oh, and that's how it ends. Okay. Now we have Metal's turn.
The world and its cuddly forest critters were threatened by the evil and oval Dr. Ivo.
Yeah, hi, Dr. Zero. I mean, Robotnik. See, I can do it that way too. Don't get mad.
Sonic the Hedgehog. No matter how many
Gotta love
robotic
these designs,
magics the
right?
good doctor threw at his blue
Yeah, and this
spiky
one's the video
nemesis,
games and the
his
IDW
teeth were always
comics.
6 spin jumps
So you have
to
the
a
main
glowing
thing and then
spot
like
away from getting
the
cracked
secondary
and
thing in a
scrambled.
sense for both of
It wouldn't
them.
be over easy for Eggman. If he couldn't defeat the Blue Blur, he would make his own Metal Sonic.
Well, 0 points on creativity for that name, but
Yeah.
damn, he does look metal as hell.
They say
Yeah, the design makes up for it a little bit, but I still don't really love the name. Oh, they hate Sonic.
Prototype.
And he likes
Metal
destroying
can
Sonic.
massively hypersonic speeds, fast enough to fly to nearby planets in seconds.
He's tougher than Eggman's standard equipment, some of which can survive black holes.
Metal can use
That's
all
already a
Sonic
huge
power-ups,
step up
and
from
he can
most like
replicate his
previous
classic
Sonic
speed dash and
analyses.
light-speed attack.
But
Most
he's got
of them.
moves of his own.
He can attack with energy blast, fire a chest laser, surround himself
We're really
with
just
electric
we're
aura,
rattling him
or
off already.
impenetrable force field.
By overloading his circuitry,
I guess at this point he does have a lot of powers.
Activate V maximum overdrive, quadrupling
Right.
his acceleration,
Cool
and
ass name.
obliterating anything in his path, at the risk of self-destructing.
You think all
At the
that
cost of
be
some
enough
key.
to turn the rodent into roadkill, but it only took one showdown on Stardust Speedway to send.
I'm
Metal
excited
to the
for
scrap
the fourth Sonic movie, by the way.
Metal should be able to
Is it gonna be based on
outmatch
Sonic CD?
in every way, and yet
Somewhat?
he doesn't. For some reason,
Yeah, well,
Eggman
not
isn't
all
able
the
to
time he
capture
doesn't.
that ineffable quality that makes Sonic the
And we're still in
best
base
the
form
world.
right now.
Metal's defeats at the hands of Sonic and his friends sharpened his AI into a seething hatred of his rival and a burning desire to prove himself.
Getting a little
superior.
more personality,
Well,
even
when
if it's
you're
like
getting
more
your
of the same
supersized
emotion.
badass handed to you by Charmy B, you know something's gone horribly wrong.
Metal's
Yeah, it's
defeat
almost like the
gave
good
him
guys
an
basically
existential
always win.
crisis. If he was created to surpass Sonic and couldn't even manage that, what was he? Why should
Existential
he exist?
robot
Never
crisis.
wanting to admit defeat, Eggman took Metal back to the drawing board and
He's giving a thumbs up.
This Neo Metal Sonic was, above all, far smarter.
Especially after he copied Eggman's intelligence and took over his empire.
He's
And
really
we mean
smart.
Literally
Kinda
copied.
similar to
If
Stitch and
Metal
Jumba,
started as
actually.
Sonic's copycat, why not hunt all of his furry friends down and copy them too?
Yes, he's
Neo Metal
way
Sonic
more
is
than
equipped
just an
with
evil
scanners
Sonic
and
at this
optic
point.
receptors that can copy a person's biodata, giving him the ability to recreate all of their
But how much does
abilities
this
in
biodata
seconds.
extend
Like
to,
the
right? Like,
Sonic Boom,
would it include
Knuckles'
Key?
hammer punch, Tails' magical swiveling asshole, and Big's ability to suck at fishing.
Metal isn't just learning their moves, he can replicate more esoteric powers like silver psychokinesis.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm
manufacture
saying,
Bruce's
like-
mechanical bat guards, or alter his very
Yeah,
biology to
this is
copy
stuff that, you
Esper's
know,
chameleon
you kind of need
invisibility.
certain
It's
things
worth
to
mentioning that
do,
biological
right? And
data
Metal
is
Sonic
a
just doesn't
real
need those
scientific term
things.
and can refer to molecular structures like the genome sequence within a living organism's DNA.
Mm-hmm.
His copying is so busted, it doesn't really matter that he's a robot made of metal.
Exactly.
If you can do it, so can he. Probably helps that he can shapeshift and regenerate his whole body from a puddle.
Likely by
Yeah.
copying one of the mightiest beings on the planet, the god of destruction.
Hey, Chaos,
That's
or
the
Perfect
only
Chaos.
he's encountered.
By scanning the ultimate life form,
So
Shadow
perfect.
the Hedgehog, he gained his ability to manipulate some of the most powerful artifacts in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
You mean the Chaos Emeralds?
Yes.
Yeah.
The emeralds contain an infinite wellspring of
He's also the
mystical
Master
power and
Emerald, but
life energy.
yes.
With them, Metal can perform Shadow's chaos control. He can teleport, warp, and distort space, boost his speed, and stop time. And with either the Chaos Emeralds or Master Emerald, he can transform
Yeah,
into
he just needs the
Super
chaos
Neo Metal
energy.
Sonic.
Completely invulnerable and completely golden, Super Neo Metal Sonic can move at faster than light speeds and has the power to move
ridiculous
continents.
speed.
The emeralds are inconceivably powerful. They've been used to fuel Eggman's Death Egg, which could obliterate star systems.
On their own, they can even create and destroy whole universes.
Other super characters like Sonic have battled and defeated beings like the Time Eater, who could
Yes.
destroy multiple dimensions and timelines in seconds. At their peak, 3 super hedgehogs have even fought Solaris, who nearly consumed Sonic's entire multiverse.
So Super Neo
Which isn't
Metal Sonic
small.
should be just as powerful as any of them. Though he's got to be quick because all that power only lasts a short time.
The road to total
Without, you know,
domination
the
was
steady
nearly
supply of
at an
chaos
end.
energy,
After
yeah.
manipulating Sonic and friends and copying their abilities, Metal eventually combined their biodata with the mighty Egg Fleet and became Metal Overlord.
Yeah.
Complete with missiles, giant crystal projectiles.
And Metal Overlord has fought
Great
super
command,
beings
3
before.
supersonic heroes
Like,
all by
earlier
himself.
in the
Overlord is
timeline.
all-time final boss material.
And he knew
I mean, yeah, he
his
looks
ego
like it
might
for
as well
sure.
have its own health bar. Metal's drive to surpass his rival had morphed into the delusional belief that he was the original and Sonic the loathsome copy.
A copy that
Really,
Metal
that
had
is
finally outclassed.
that is delusion
All
on
the
a whole
heroes
nother
Metal had
level.
gathered had to team up to take him down.
He may have stolen their abilities, but Metal never possessed the thing that made the Sonic heroes successful: their friendship and teamwork.
Yeah, power of
Aw,
friendship,
how cute.
always.
Gag. Probably should have added some of those goddamn rails to the final boss fight, because it is impossible to land on those things. After getting trashed
Yeah.
again, Eggman reprogrammed
Gotta love the
Metal to
platforming.
purge any bits of rebelliousness from his code.
Metal returned to being the Eggman Army's chief enforcer, always proving invaluable as the Bad Doctor's greatest creation. Now
Yeah, even when he
completely
betrays him
obedient once
a little
again.
bit.
I don't know, Wiz. Who knows what's really going on behind those glowing red eyes? Maybe Metal is more cunning than he lets on, and is only biding his time until he can take over again.
Maybe the most
Maybe.
powerful thing that Metal copied was the ability to lie.
Chilling ending, man.
All right, to the combatants.
All right, now we get to the battle. But first, I gotta yap a little bit more. I'm sorry. Time for a death battle! And, okay, yeah, they pause a little bit more when they do that. Okay, now let's actually talk about this. So, I don't think I'm gonna talk about this for that long. I'm still pretty sure Metal has this. They basically scaled him as far as I assumed that they would. And there might have been some stuff in black boxes. Like, I try to read the black boxes when I can, but it's difficult, you know, to listen and read at the same time. But, like, it does seem like from everything that I was able to pick up on, it looks like Metal is still a lot stronger at his best. As far as speed, I wasn't really sure if... I might have been talking over it. I'm not sure if they said anything that would specifically translate to speed. But of course, you know, with destroying, like, you know, or posing a threat to the entire multiverse and how fast that would be, we saw, you know, a calculation like that in Bowser vs. Eggman. They might just be waiting for the post-analysis to talk about speed. Because just based on everything that they said... Oh, and they also didn't really calculate Cell's speed either, but I'm just remembering from Trunks vs. Silver how fast that was, which I think was like, it was something like 10 quintillion times faster than light or something. Of course, they may have recalculated it or something. And of course, with Super Saiyan 2 being like a 100 times multiplier from base, I believe it is, that would be 100 times faster than that. So it seems like they're saving speed for later, although, again, just based on the descriptions of what these characters are doing, and, you know, like Solaris versus, like, Goku's trip to hell, like, I would still assume that Metal Sonic is faster, but especially, or at least at his top condition, right? Like with the super form, like the Master Emerald or the Chaos Emeralds, which, regardless of how they're doing it, they're giving him the super form. It's very clear that they're doing that. So at least at his peak, he should be faster. And again, I think he should be stronger with posing a threat to, like, the entire multiverse, or at least, like, multiple timelines, they said, I believe. Like, even if we just use that, I guess it depends on how big you want to scale Dragon Ball's universe. Like, I remember in Goku versus Superman for Universe 7 specifically, they were saying that it was like over 1,500 times the size of our universe, or our observable universe, or something along those lines. So 1,500, I guess it depends on how many universes Sonic's multiverse stacks up to, but even still, I think that should still be significantly beyond Cell's level of power, I think. Again, it depends on how they analyze it afterwards, but that's kind of what I'm assuming right now. And especially with the whole, like, power copying thing, they gave me no reason to believe that he can't copy all of Cell's powers, essentially. Like, again, with the whole, like, esoteric powers that he can copy, like, there are some things that Metal just doesn't need in order to be able to copy abilities, right? Like, that the other characters do need on, like, a biological level. And again, Ki exists in all living things, but Metal's a robot. It doesn't matter that he's a robot, right? So I do believe he should be able to copy Ki, and I would imagine Zenkai boosts as well, and Cell's healing factor. So any string that you could reasonably pull on for, like, Cell being able to outlast Metal, it seems like Metal can just copy all that survivability as well. Unless they pull a switch up and they're like, oh, well, actually, Metal can't copy this or this or this. But, like, again, like, unless they're trying to be really misleading, it seems like he can. So yeah, and with the whole like chaos control and stuff like that too, like I don't really think Metal, or I don't think Cell has a good counter for that. Whereas again, like it seems like a lot of Cell stuff can kind of just be countered by dodging, assuming that Metal is faster, or by just using chaos control. So I don't really have that much more to say unless I'm really missing something here, or unless they really surprise me on their final numbers for stats, then I do think Metal has this. But again, let's just watch the fight and see what happens. No, what are you doing? That's my fleet.
Robotnik. Your reputation precedes you. Bring me your strongest fighter.
It is nice to hear Devil voicing Cell.
Then prepare to kneel before your master.
Oh, we gotta get that quote in there. Okay, let's go. And he starts as Neo. Very interesting. I guess it's fewer models they have to worry about. Ooh. He's tossing him around a little bit. Yeah, the duplication can definitely mess him up a little bit. The black shield, or whatever it's called. Ooh! Damn, yeah, he really is just like ragdolling him. To start, at least.
Tell me, does a machine like yourself ever experience fear?
I feel like we've heard that line a few times before. I like the cool impact frames. We're going into Overlord really quick. But it does look awesome. That's actually so cool that Devil put this in. Oh, teleported away. It's like a physical spirit bomb. And he just knocked him out. I guess they can't have it in for too long, but that looked so cool. Oh, that was cool too. Okay, a little tough to understand, but I think I got it. Yeah. Right, and he can just use that time to do that. And sliced in half, or just the arm cut off? Just the arm, okay. Either way, it wouldn't be over.
I know. Now I know everything about you, insect.
Oh, he did the thing. That was fun. Oh boy. Now he's tossing him around a little bit. Ugh. Hi, Cell Juniors. Oh, but then he can copy himself too. Yeah. Ooh. Gotta love the wide shots.
Don't you dare.
Okay. Was that it? Oh no, the arena. Oh no, he was fine. Now we get to the super perfect Cell. Oh my god! Oh yeah, it's going back and forth.
Not just the greatest warrior in the universe. I am all of them.
Well, so is Metal. Maybe? Or is he just gonna get killed the same way in Bowser vs. Eggman?
If you are all of them, then so am I.
Well,
Never lose to a machine like
you can just keep stopping time. Oh man. It just keeps going and going. But then he just gets, yeah, he just crushes that.
I'll crush you.
Oh, there it is. Okay, that was pretty satisfying, I'm not gonna lie.
Powers of the Chaos Emeralds and the Z Fighters? Well, that world's fucked.
Yeah,
Cell may
exactly.
have been one of the greatest
Just
threats
keeps
in Dragon
going
Ball
and
Z,
going.
but Eggman's greatest
And so would
creation
Cell
ultimately
if he
proved
kept
too much for
going.
him. Let's break this down into 4 categories: strength, speed, abilities, and adaptation.
First
Okay,
up, who was
sounds
the
good.
strongest? Well, it's no surprise that any version of Cell was gonna be way more powerful than base Metal or Neo. Even just using the manga, blowing up a solar system is far beyond the level of power output Metal can match.
Without his
Well,
stronger form,
there's gonna be some
with
debate
him,
on
the
that,
power
but
gap entirely
yeah,
reversed.
fair enough.
Not only could Metal match Cell's solar system busting or scaling from Frieza, but he could surpass it with the universe-destroying power of the
Exactly.
Emeralds.
But hang on, Wiz.
And they let the
Most
characters
Minions
power
said
up.
that Cell was strong enough to threaten a
You know, before they get blitzed or
They
anything.
did, but they didn't specify how, and there's nothing suggesting he could destroy it in one go. Especially since it's only
Yeah,
brought up
it's
theoretically and
the
without
is the
any
proof
time.
really
Even
there?
being generous and assuming he could just blow it up, final bosses like Time Eater and Solaris can destroy the wider multiverse.
Exactly.
And Super Neo Metal would scale to them. Metal Sonic takes the edge.
So
in
the
strength.
multiverse must
And
be a
with Sonic
little
characters
bigger,
being
or
known
what they
for their speed,
destroyed
you might
must have
think
been a
that
little
was
bigger.
An easy win for Metal.
At his max speed in his super form, he should be comparable to entities like the Time Eater, who in Shadow Generations can destroy entire universes. in
Yeah, I had a
seconds.
feeling they were
By
gonna scale
using the
these
radius of the
attacks at that
observable
point,
universe,
yeah.
we can estimate the Time Eater's destructive wave traveled at about 180 quadrillion times faster than light.
I think that's about the same number in
But
Bowser
let's
vs.
compare that to
Eggman.
Goku's flight from heaven to hell shortly after the Cell games, which covered roughly a universe in distance at approximately 180 quadrillion times faster than light.
Oh,
Just like Time Eater. The difference, though, was that Goku was in his base form, way slower than Super Saiyan 2 Gohan.
Oh,
or Super
interesting.
Perfect Cell.
Factoring in Super Saiyan multipliers, Super Perfect Cell can move
potential
upwards of
infinite
100
speeds.
times
They would
faster
cancel.
than that,
Oh, so
and
both of them
Cell
have like
100 times
infinite.
faster than Metal Sonic. Somehow,
Although they said Metal
takes the
Sonic
edge
was like
in
more
speed.
immeasurable,
You
or
know,
could have
the
been
thing
in
Metal
Bowser
was
vs.
designed for.
Eggman, but
Wasn't expecting that.
well, you know,
Let's
whatever,
see
it's
if any of
fine.
their abilities could tip the scales.
They shared many of the same powers, like telekinesis, force fields, and energy projectiles.
Mm-hmm.
Of note, though, Cell's regeneration was clearly superior, able to fully heal from a single cluster
Yes.
of microscopic cells.
On top of that, Cell Saiyan
But again, with the power
G growing
copying,
power
it's,
every time he almost died.
doesn't really
And
matter
Cell
much.
Juniors gave him the numbers advantage.
And considering Super Neo Metal had a time limit, Cell would have a big advantage in a battle of attrition.
But with
Y-
chaos
exactly,
control,
but it would
that
have to
became
get
a
to
lot
that point.
tougher.
Cell and his juniors had no way to deal with Metal boosting his speed or stopping time, something that countered Cell's speed advantage and left him open. And
Exactly.
with Silver psychokinesis, or the Emerald spatial distortion, Metal could seriously impair Cell's healing.
So it helped that Cell could fall back on his martial arts abilities in a pinch.
Despite effectively being a newborn, Cell's genetic instincts allowed him to best Earth's most skilled warriors back to
Well, I mean,
back
yeah,
to
as far as like
back.
fighting
Metal Man
ability,
copied Eggman's
he's
brains,
definitely more
but he
skilled.
definitely isn't as good of a fighter. The Sonic heroes haven't trained like the Z fighters, and Metal's been beaten by all of them a bunch of times. So all that in mind, abilities is roughly a
Okay.
wash.
Which leaves us
Powers,
with the
I
one
think
thing
Metal-
they're
I think the
both
powers
known
might be
for,
more
their
important, but
capability to
okay.
evolve and become more powerful in response to their opponents, aka their adaptation.
Exactly.
And frankly,
But
that's
that
where
goes
this
to
back
Metal
and forth
easy.
completely
That's the
breaks.
problem.
Because at the end of the day, Metal can copy Cell, but Cell can't absorb Metal.
Cell's
Mm-hmm.
ability to physically absorb an opponent is primarily viable against foes he can match or overpower.
Even if he took
Yeah.
them by surprise, he can't absorb fully inorganic robots like Android 16.
Cell
that
was
too.
only able to absorb Android 17 and 18 because they were primarily organic.
They're actually more like cyborgs and are only
Whereas
called
Metal has like the
androids
best
in
of both
English
worlds. He's a
translation.
robot that can
Metal, on the other
use
hand, can copy a
biological
target's biodata
abilities.
through only a few seconds of direct eyesight, something he could easily accomplish during a time stop.
And
Yeah.
using it on Cell means he wouldn't just
I'd argue
get
he wouldn't
Cell's
even need
powers,
that, but yeah.
the powers of all of the Z Warriors too.
Remember, Metal's copying applies to abilities that fundamentally affect his own biology, like Espio's invincibility
Yep.
or Chaos's liquid body. Nothing Cell has would be off limits, especially
That's
given
what I
all of
thought.
Cell's powers were genetically encoded in the first place, quite literally biodata.
Cell's Saiyan power-ups? Copied. Cell's regeneration? Copied.
That one,
Cell's
yeah, for
heat
sure, that
techniques,
one.
Believe it or not, copied.
Chaos Emeralds are described as being able to produce life energy, similar to Ki. So there's a precedent for him being able to replicate Cell's power set. And at this
Mm-hmm.
point, there's nothing stopping Metal from, say, stopping time and using a Kamehameha to vaporize him at a cellular
Like he
level.
died,
Just
yeah.
like Gohan did.
Cell might be able to do anything the Z fighters know how to do, but that's not gonna help him. 'cause
Yeah, if Metal can do all of
Cell
it.
knows how to do. Strange, isn't it?
Cell just doesn't have any options to retaliate that Metal wouldn't also possess, including any of his previous advantages.
Yeah.
Metal's copy ability is just
About what I thought.
overpowered.
Makes perfect sense to me, honestly.
Why they called it Sonic CD.
Why is that?
Cell died. Where's he? You get it?
They were
CD.
foreshadowing this the whole time.
Where you go? Come on back.
Good job, Metal Sonic. Next time on Death Battle, we have a lot of explosion. No way. Is it actually Bakugo versus Reze?
Subscribe and join
What?
us to see more death.
I remember when this was like such a huge meme in the community, and then like there were some don't get me wrong, like there were some people that started to take it more seriously, right? And like that's fine. You can like the matchup all you want. As far as like my opinions on the matchup, like yeah, like I think it's okay. I don't think it's like an awful idea. I've said before that Bakugo is actually very similar to Cell for me in that he has a lot of opponents, but does he really have like a perfect one? No pun intended. I don't really know about that, right? Bakugo is actually very similar in that regard. And now that I think about it, they're using a lot of anime right now. Like, they've basically had, like, all anime characters except for Metal Sonic since, like, Ash versus Yugi. That's actually kind of insane. They don't usually, like, double or triple up on that, like, so, like, such in, like, one spot, you know? I guess they're still doing the thing where it's like they're just releasing the episodes when they're finished, more so. That is crazy. Okay, Bakugo versus Reze is next. That's gonna make some people real happy. Okay, yeah. I was expecting maybe they'd go back to cartoons. I thought maybe it could have been Gru versus Megamind, or maybe even, God forbid, Luz versus Ann. I mean, who knows about that one? Bakugo versus Reze was like last on like my prediction list or anything. I wasn't expecting that. I thought again for like Bakugo matchups, it seemed like the biggest ones in the general sense were Bakugo versus Yang, 'cause that's just been around for the longest. But then it seemed like they switched more over to Bakugo versus Rexplode, which, you know, I would have been fine with. I think, you know, the debate, though, would have been, like, really uninteresting, which is kind of, like, the main reason why he wasn't my preferred for Bakugo. But okay, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, we're getting Bakugo versus Reze in the first place now. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense. They want to keep it relevant with, like, the Reze movie. Like, I suppose, and with the whole, like, My Hero Academia ending, like, I suppose maybe they bumped it up a little bit to be more in line with that. I guess I can understand that. But okay, another My Hero Academia episode, and another one that completely catches me off guard. But yeah, we'll take a look at that one when it gets there. But okay, talking about this episode now, Cell versus Metal Sonic. I enjoyed that probably just about as much as I thought I was going to. I did definitely enjoy it quite a bit. I think, you know, the animation, surprisingly, even with them doing stuff that they don't normally do, like bringing out Metal Overlord like so quickly, and then, you know, kind of going back to Neo Metal Sonic, and then he does the copying afterwards, like it kind of makes sense for the progression of the battle. It was unexpected, but it definitely worked. I think as far as like the choreography and the pacing of everything, I think DevilArtemis nailed it. I think he really knew how to get the most out of these characters and what flowed best for them. Because it does kind of make sense that, you know, you kind of want to focus on the copying after like the big kaiju monster, because that doesn't really focus on copying. Because otherwise then you're going from, you know, copying to big kaiju monster, then like back to copying, or I guess the super form you could do it. But I think this really was the best way to progress the battle. So, you know, kudos to DevilArtemis for everything. I know that there were other animators working on it. I know there was like this one like more hand-drawn shot of like Metal walking through the fire. I imagine that was a different animator. That might have been Moro. I think he was also working on this one. But, you know, I love a lot of the animation styles that they put into here. Even if they were brief, I did still like it. And yeah, the time stopping was fun. You know, the big Kamehameha clash, I did definitely expect something like that. I'm so sorry, the lighting is changing on me constantly. But yeah, no, I did enjoy all of that stuff. The Cell Juniors were fun as well. The duplicates of both Metal and Cell, like doing that for 3D, like the 3D models, like that is still difficult to do, and it means that they actually did have like a base Metal model after all, right? Even if they did start him in the Neo Metal Sonic form, theoretically they could have had him start in like regular, like his base form, and then go to Overlord, and then go to Neo Metal Sonic and go with that. They could have done that if they really wanted to, but I don't have a problem with the way it was. And yeah, there were actually moments that kept me guessing, because there were times where I'm like, it feels like if Metal is going to deal the killing blow, it's going to be now, because he's like just powered up. But no, they actually, like, even after, you know, he went super and all that, like they still gave Cell like a number of cool lines. You know, he was surviving things. There was you know, he got obliterated by the Kamehameha, but even still survived that, but then died to another one later. But, you know, I enjoyed a lot of the animation for sure. It definitely kept me guessing at points, and I think all of the models looked so good. Like, there were some other animations where sometimes I think, you know, especially like Omni-Man versus Bardock, where I think like the Omni-Man model I think could have looked a little better, for instance. Like, it looks a little too much like an action figure. But this is one where I think like the models really fit the characters well. And as far as I don't really think I need to talk too much about the outcome or anything, because it's basically everything that I was saying. I do still think maybe they were being a little generous towards Cell, though, in some ways. Like, I think, you know, again, I did read in the corner box that they were saying that, you know, both of them could potentially reach infinite speeds with the right scaling, although I'm pretty sure they did talk about incalculable speeds for like the fastest stuff on Eggman's side and Bowser's side, like when they were doing Bowser versus Eggman. I'm pretty sure they were talking about immeasurable speed more so for that. So it seems like they more so wanted to make like a quick equivalency to not have to talk about it that much, you know, which again, you know, I still don't love it when that happens, but, you know, I guess I understand it. But yeah, it seems like maybe like if they really wanted to go like the highest ends for both of the characters, Metal would still win out there. But you know, it's fine. You know, I think maybe if you want to say they're about even in speed, you can. If you really want to give it to Cell based on that interpretation, you know, I think that's fine if you really want to do that. Again, with the whole like chaos control and stuff like that, like there's gonna be a point where that really doesn't matter, especially like with the chaos control and the copying. Yeah, the adaptation makes perfect sense to me. I am happy they were able to kind of like more so back up how Metal was able to do all of that, like, you know, copy a lot of what Cell had. And you can call it a no limits fallacy if you want, but really I was just kind of going into it thinking like it hasn't stopped him before. Like, no biological thing or no thing in the first place, whether it's like mental, like the ESP of Silver, you know, like there's really nothing that stops Metal from doing that. So I was just kind of going into it where it's like there's no reason to think he can't, but they actually did go that extra step and like try to explain the best they could of like, you know, like why this definitely works. So that was great. And the whole like, you know, abilities thing, like, again, I think it is close, but I might go a little closer towards Metal winning that category, again, just because Cell is definitely a better fighter, but again, with stuff like chaos control, like I feel like that's just a hard counter on that, to the point where it doesn't really matter. And if it doesn't really matter, why are we reflecting that in the category advantages, right? Because that's supposed to be the stuff that's like most representative of the battle. So I feel like Metal having the better powers does kind of win out over that. So as far as like the specific categories, I may have some, I don't want to say complaints, but I may have some of my own opinions on that. But as far as like the way it was generally worded and all that, like I don't really have any issues with that. And the analyses were fun too. You know, I think they were pretty standard death battle analyses. They definitely went over everything I think they needed to. Not my favorite analyses in the entire series, I don't think, but I still really enjoyed them. I think they did the job well. Again, going off of the progression of the characters, like they start kind of with, you know, they kind of hop a little bit around with like Cell's abilities, because you kind of want to talk about the base abilities, even if he really only has them in like his perfect forms. But, you know, generally speaking, they did kind of go from like, you know, the weaker versions all the way up to the stronger versions when they could for Cell, and also for Metal when they could do that as well. So, you know, it makes perfect sense, the progression of the animation as well as the analyses. So I did really enjoy that. So yeah, overall, I did enjoy this episode. Not my favorite matchup. Still, I wouldn't say my favorite matchup, but like, it was still really cool to see this get brought to life. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Who do you think should have won? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, comment your comments, subscribe if you could too. That would be amazing. That would really help the channel out. And thank you so much to all the channel members. Of course, you guys are awesome. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.